Hello everybody, this is Cheryl. So many people have made comments about resin and being afraid of it, and I can totally relate. I had my resin for like 4 months before I finally decided to try it, and I'm absolutely in love with it. So I thought I would do a video this morning to show you how to mix your resin and how to apply it. I apologize if this is going to be a long video, but I want to make sure certain aspects are covered for people. The first thing I do is I double glove. I have really small hands, so I have found that medium gloves are good for a base, but this weekend I actually found a pair of gloves that fit me perfectly. They're kind of hard to put on over the gloves that are a little big, but Walmart has gloves. So let's see if I can find the box right here. Rely on. If you have small hands, I highly recommend those gloves. They will work great for you. Like I said, it's a little hard putting them on over another pair of gloves, but I do not resin single gloved. I like to be double gloved. That way if I need to pull a layer off and do something, I'm not getting resin all over the place. Another thing I have found that works really well for cleanup in between and working with the resin is disinfectant wipes. I just buy the generic disinfectant wipes at the store and keep them on hand. They work better than paper towels. I don't have to change my gloves as often, so it's very much worth the cost. Okay, now that I'm double gloved, I'm ready to mix my resin. Most resins will tell you to pour the, I don't know what you call it, the lighter liquid first. The KS resin that I use recommends pouring the hardener first, and I've done it both ways, and I actually find that pouring the hardener first mixes up easier, and I think it gets a better compilation of the resin, just mixes it so much nicer and smoother. This is a 1-to-1 resin, so I just put 2 ounces. Ooh, actually I did a hair over 2 ounces in my cup. So I need to make sure I do a little over 2 ounces of my hardener, or excuse me, of the other portion. Again, 2-to-1. So I will just fill this cup completely. This is a 2 ounce with a little room to go. So I will just fill it fully to the brim. Add that to my hardener. You want to make sure you mix this a good 2 full minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. I make sure I get everything out of the cup that I can. So let's review again a couple things. Oh, I have a broken stick. Oh, that's not going to work too well. Let's just get us another one. So let's review some of the things you're going to need, because you're going to want to have things set up before you start mixing. You're going to need stir sticks. You're going to need measuring cups. I love these 2 ounce thick plastic cups. I actually bought them off Amazon. And I can leave the popsicle sticks in them when I'm all done, and they're very easy to clean up. Can't do that with these thinner cups. Those pretty much have to go into the garbage. So you're going to want measuring cups, stir sticks. You need a heat gun and or a blow torch, a torch. I actually use both. I've tried it with just the heat gun, and I didn't like the outcome. I've tried it with just the torch, and I didn't care for that. I like to heat the resin up, and then I use my fingers to spread it around once it's warm. And then I torch it at the end to get the bubbles out. And for me, this is just for me personally, I prefer it that way. As you mix your resin, you want to keep scraping the sides. And yes, I'm kind of getting a lot of air bubbles, but that's okay because I can work those out when I'm done. Another thing you're going to need, which I, excuse me, will not be using today because I can't talk if I have it on, and that is a respirator. Even though this is no VOC and it is extremely low odor, gases still come off of the resin when it is heated. So it's really important to protect your lungs. Like I said, I won't be doing it today only because I cannot speak with that on. You will not understand what I'm saying. Let's see, what else can I tell you? The KS resin that I use is 1-to-1 ratio. It's 0 VOC. It has added UV inhibitors. It dries to the touch in 12 hours. You can use it in 3 days. It says it's fully cured in 3 days, but I recommend letting it sit 7, and just to get a good, full, hard cure. Let's see, what else? The working time is 45 minutes to an hour. For these coasters that I did, or I'm in the process of doing, I've already done 14. And I used 6 ounces of resin for 14 coasters. So I just mixed up another 4 ounces for the remaining 10. Yeah, the remaining 10 that still need to be covered. And hopefully that will leave me a little extra in case I notice some sides that didn't fully get covered. Because that's something you're going to have to watch for, just to make sure that you get a good coverage. All right, I think this is about ready. Oh yeah, look at that. That looks really good. Yes, there's a lot of air bubbles in it. They will settle down. Another thing I want you to do, or that I highly recommend, is do not leave your mixture in the cup you mixed it in. I will not reuse this one. I'll just put it upside down in another area so it can drain. Always put your resin in a different container, because if you don't, it will start to harden. It will start to cure. It will start heating up and starting the curing process. So I like to just pour it into different little cups. Like I said, I love these cups. I don't remember how much they were. They're 2 ounce, I think they're 2 ounce medical cups, but they're not the little ones for medicine. These are much thicker. I do not have an Amazon account set up yet for an affiliate. I plan to do that. And once I do, I will definitely add these to my link, because I think it's really important to have good cups. I've used the little 2 ounce medical ones for medicine you get when you're in the hospital, and those are too thin. You cannot reuse them once you use them with resin. These thicker ones, you can leave the stick in there, and then you can actually pull the stick and all the resin out when it dries. It's really cool. I'm weird. I like to play with stuff like that. It's fascinating. And I like to be able to get every drop I can out of this cup. So that ended up being about 5 ounces of resin, which should be more than enough for the 10 I have with some touch-up. Okay, I'm going to readjust my camera and get you down on the tiles so you can see what to do next. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my resin and just pour some on my coasters. And I do not want the whole thing covered. I just want a good puddle. Resin is very expensive, but is also amazing on what it can do and the effects that it gives you. It is a glass-like finish like no other. And yes, this looks a little cloudy, and that's because of all the air bubbles in it. But like I said, we will get those out. I'm not too worried about that. Between the heat gun and the torch, there will be no bubbles when we are done. Ooh, I feel shaky this morning. Maybe I need more coffee. My hand was shaking. I don't feel so nervous. I'm getting used to talking to the camera. Also, please take a moment to subscribe, share, like. I am just building my online presence, and I would appreciate any support you guys would like to give, whether it be by subscribing, sharing, liking. I do have a link to my PayPal account. If you would like to give a small donation, anything is greatly appreciated. Like I said, I am just, ooh, don't you fall, just starting out. And I have been painting for a while, but I have not developed many videos. And so I am working on perfecting those. So bear with me. Okay, that looks good. All right, now what I'm going to do, see, this isn't so hard, is it? It's a little bit messy, but it's fun. All right, I am going to get my Lysol wipe out and handy. All right, I am going to come on the other side so I can start using my heat gun. This is the heat gun that I have. It's nice and shiny from all the resin that has been on it. So I'm just going to start, ooh, get back up there, I don't want to lose you. Go the other way. There we go. So I'm just going to start heating this up. This is normally when I would have my respirator on. But like I said, you wouldn't be able to hear me talk. Also, you need to have a very warm room. For this resin, you want 75 to 80 degrees in your room. My studio is a spare bedroom, so I just keep it nice and warm in here when I do resin. Other than that, the rest of the time I do not. So I just get this nice and warm. I actually put a little bit too much on here. I have it dripping off onto the sides, and I normally don't like to waste that much resin. That's okay, I can scoop it up and use it. So get these nice and heated. I don't know if you can see some of the others on the table that I've already done. The ones to my, or to your left are Galaxy coasters with glitter in them. Oh, can you see them? Let's see. Ooh, almost lost my camera. Right over there are the Galaxy ones. Okay, so stop that. Okay, what do? this is just what I do because it works the best for me, is I like to pick it up and I use my fingers and just smear it around. Just make a mess and have some fun. I want to make sure the full area, the sides can be really tricky right before it dips down, and you really want to make sure that area is covered, because if not, you'll end up having to put a second coat of resin on. And if I can get away with one, I'm happy with that. Like I said, the sides are tricky, so you want to make sure you get all the sides. Let's see. I like to do this over another coaster, so if any spills over, it's actually going on to another one, so it's not fully being wasted. Okay. And here I'm not doing it over a coaster like I just mentioned, am I? In a moment, I'm going to go to the other side of the table so that I can get those coasters over there. Oh, I love how these just sparkle once you put the resin on it. It's like they just come alive. All of the paint and the beauty underneath just shines. See, there was a spot right there that didn't fully get covered. Man down. Okay. I just put my thumb in it. That's okay. We know how to fix those little things. Just scoop some up and add it to it. All right, so now I'm going to come over here on this side. And I will do these two. This one lost quite a bit. I must not have had that sitting very centered. So I'm just going to scoop these up. As you can tell, I have wax paper down. Some people use silicone mats, which I have not ordered yet. I do plan on getting some. But for the time being, I am just using wax paper because it works so well in a pinch. I just cleaned my studio yesterday, because it was a nightmare, and I wasn't having much inspiration coming into a filthy studio. There was a lot of projects I want to do. I've got some Christmas presents people have ordered and needed to get them finished. So yesterday was my cleaning day. And I get up really early because my husband goes to work at 4. So I like to get up in the morning and have time with him. And I make his lunch. Yes, I'm one of those old-fashioned wives that actually still gets up the butt crack of dawn and makes their hubby lunch. I know, I'm a dying breed. That's okay. He does much for me. So it's just one of the things I like to do for him. And then, with getting up that early, it gives me a couple hours of studio time before I have to get ready for work. And that's my best time in the morning, is when I can come in here and spend time with myself and with you guys and get to play and do fun things. That's what makes me happy in life. Okay, so now I'm going to stop on those. I have 4 more to do, but I'm going to do those later off camera. I'm going to clean my hands. Now this is what I think is cool. Watch how clean I get with getting all this resin off with one Lysol wipe. It just amazes me how easily it comes clean. And I'm not going to get stuff all over my torch. Okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to take my torch. We're going to torch the bubbles out of these. See if there's any areas that need some touch-up. Make sure there's no goobers in the resin. Just check to make sure it looks good. And you will have to torch more than once. I recommend waiting about 10 minutes, torch again, and then I cover them. I will show you some nets that I have that I cover with. And I also have some paper boxes and I just move these closer together, and then I put a box on top of them to keep the dirt and anything off of them. I highly recommend, if you're going to use a box, that you wipe it out with a Lysol wipe, bang on the bottom. You don't want any dirt or anything that might be in the box to transfer down onto your coasters. Ask me how I know this. Because I've ruined some coasters and I had to sand them and do a second coat. So, trust me when I say make sure there's no dirt in your boxes. You will thank me for it. Okay, and that's that. That's how simple it is to use resin. Don't be afraid of the resin. It is your friend. There are precautions you need to take. Have your supplies ready. Have everything laid out before you mix your resin. If you're going to put glitter or paste or any color in your resin, which I love doing that. I don't know if you've seen some of my ocean work or some of the other things that I have done, other pieces. I highly recommend you go check, because there is some amazing work you can do with resin, on wood, on glass. It's just phenomenal. Don't be afraid of it. There is no need for fear. I lost my train of thought. Welcome to my mind. I hope you have enjoyed today's lesson. Please, if you have any questions, drop them down below. I will answer them as soon as I can. Like I said, I also work a full-time job. So I will get to them as soon as I possibly can. I want to thank you for spending your time with me today. Remember to please like, share, subscribe. I will put my link for the KS resin with the discount code, as well as my PayPal account. So if you would like to donate to help me with supplies and to keep these videos coming, it would greatly be appreciated. As I am learning more and more, I am enjoying sharing it with you guys and helping you learn and grow along with myself in the process. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and thank you. It's 24 hours later, and these are the finished products of the coasters. They turned out beautiful. We only had 2 casualties. These 2 right here got stuck underneath a box I did not see.